How did I get started with video production, aerial drones, and video editing? I'll now share with you what it took for me to turn my natural gift of creativity into a successful business without any formal training. The main goal and hope of me sharing my story is to uplift and encourage you to follow your passion, whatever that might look like for you. I always get asked this question because people don't know where to start in most cases. I'll share my story and the steps I took to get where I am today without going to film school and having any other formal training. So let's rewind all the way back to what motivated me to get into filmmaking, aerial drones, and video editing in the first place. So to begin with, I've always been a creative person as far back as I can remember. So at an early age and on into my high school years, it became evident that I was a naturally creative, and especially in the area of drawing and oil painting. So during my time in the U.S. Air Force, I purchased my first video camera for personal reasons. My creativity led me to figure out how to add music to a video without the standard, editing equipment. Keep in mind, that the internet didn't exist back in the 1980s, which means I couldn't just, do an internet search because it didn't exist. In my quest to add music to a home video, my creative mind pushed me to figure out how to connect two VCRs, video cassette recorders together using a CD player for the background music and a voiceover. How's that for creativity, right? Okay, before I continue, I know some of you are wondering, what's a VCR? It's that thing we used to use to watch and record, movies back in the 1980s and mid-90s, so I hope that helps, So let's continue on. During my time in the U.S. Air Force, my creativity rose to the surface again in the form of organizing dances and DJing. This inspiration for DJing came from watching other DJs during my childhood. My creative ear for music would later become my best asset in laying the audio foundation for my video editing projects today. When I separated from the Air Force in 1995, I worked as a security officer for a few years because of my dream of becoming a police officer didn't come through. One night while I was at my security job, I was watching TV, and no, I wasn't supposed to be watching TV, and a real estate infomercial caught my attention about becoming a real estate investor. That motivated me to get a real estate license, quit my job, start helping people purchase and sell homes. I became a real estate investor, and I opened my own real estate brokerage. Please bear with me. this story is relevant to where I am today. So I achieved a decent level of financial success up until the real estate market crashed in 2008. However, in spite of my perceived financial success in real estate, I always felt like there was a void within me. This emptiness was present, well before the real estate market crash. I truly believe, this was a result of me finally realizing that I had been living my life for the approval of other people instead of following the passion of creativity which always screamed from within me. After the real estate market crash, I closed my real estate office because the home sales had stopped immediately. I maintained my real estate license and continued to sell real estate to my existing and past clients, but for steady income, I went back to what was comfortable and familiar with me. That was working as an armed security officer. The real estate market crash was apparently, all that I needed to be pushed into a confused and hopeless state about my life choices. The real estate market crash, it really took a toll on my finances. So due to my mental state, I was at an all-time low. I was depressed, but I just didn't even know it. I worked as a security officer for 9 years, and yes, for 9 years because I was afraid to pursue the gift of creativity that was always screaming from within me from birth. However, that changed in 2017 when I reached a breaking point mentally. I finally realized I had two ways I could view the acronym FEAR. I could choose to forget everything and run, or I could choose to face everything and rise. I chose to face everything and rise for the sake of my sanity and my family because I had just reached the end. So I accomplished this by quitting my job and starting my own video production, aerial drone, and video editing company called Purpose Video Services. It's the most frightening thing that I had ever done, and at the same time, it was the most fulfilling thing, I had ever even conceived of doing. So after 49 years of living, I had finally reached a point where I no longer allowed fear and what other people thought of me to stop me from operating in my creativity. I had misunderstood the definition of courage, for 49 years. I always believed that it meant to act without fear. I came to know and understand that it actually meant to act in spite of and in the presence of fear. I don't make these statements in arrogance or boastfulness, but in confidence, because I want you to be encouraged by my story and overcome any obstacles that might be keeping you from your passion. Of course, that's, if you're not already living and operating in the purpose that you were created for. To give you a clearer recap of my video production, aerial drone, and video editing career timeline, In 2016 of August, I attended a men's event at my church. It sparked my creativity, and I created a slideshow video of the event. My passion for video editing was born on that day. In May 2017, I attended a book release in Los Angeles, and I was inspired to create a video of the event, with my iPhone, which I then sent to the book publisher. Because of that simple gesture, with no film school or any other formal training, I was asked to capture and edit the official red carpet launch of, the book publisher's company at the Writers Guild Theater in Beverly Hills, California. Keep in mind, that I didn't have any film production equipment, when I was asked. I didn't let that hinder me. I told the book publisher that I could make it happen with no problem. Talk about stepping out on faith. So I immediately, began to research what equipment, I would need by searching in YouTube, searching YouTube. I'll share more about my YouTube search in a second, because that in itself was an experience. So continue on. June 2017, I officially established Purpose Video Services, without ever attending film school or having any other formal training. Continuing on to December 2017, I resigned from my security job to pursue my gift of creativity through Purpose Video Services. I stepped out on faith with no steady monthly income aside from the monthly $260 Veterans Disability Payment. I still maintained my real estate broker license, assisted a few people from time to time, with their real estate needs. However, financially, it was extremely tough for my family at first. But I just knew that everything was going to work out just fine. I had to figure out how to build a business with my creativity, because, at that point, there was no turning back. Prior to 2016, I had zero filmmaking, editing, and drone education experience. I didn't even own a professional level video camera. I actually started with my iPhone and then, a professional camcorder, and finally to a pro level video camera. Before I began operating in my creativity, I was sitting on my potential due to fear. So, at that moment, I came across a quote from Billy Joel, and it reads, "If you're not doing what you love, you're wasting your time." When I quit my job in 2017, I never looked back, and then I started pursuing my creative passion by watching YouTube tutorials focused on film production, drones, and video editing. Since this course is primarily about video editing, I'll share that I located a beginner video editor program, which I'll share more about later in this training. This software was so user-friendly and easy for me to grasp, but I made it my video editing platform of choice for my course 60-minute video editor. Please stay tuned to the end for the special deal that you'll receive if you decide to invest in my course. Today, I've advanced to a more complicated video editing software named Adobe Premiere Pro, but I still highly recommend the software that I'll be sharing with you later for any beginning video editor. At a later date, my plans are to create an advanced video editing course based upon Adobe Premiere Pro. The main thing that I immediately realized, when I began shooting videos, that I didn't know the basic steps and process of, video editing. I soon realized that I had no idea how to edit properly, so I spent countless hours watching frustrating YouTube tutorials trying to teach me how to edit videos. I'm sure a lot of you have been in the same scenario where you spend an hour looking for a tutorial and you finally find one that looks promising, but it's 20 minutes long, and you're lucky if you get 30 seconds of useful information out of it. What a huge waste of time. I know how it goes, and that's a huge reason why I created 60-minute video editor, because I wanted to give people an alternative to traditional school, which would cost you thousands of dollars and years of your life. In addition, I wanted to give you an alternative to spending months and years of your life watching YouTube tutorials and learning from your own mistakes. We'll talk more about this later, but the point is, I've been where you are, and I know how frustrating this process can be. So after hundreds of hours of watching YouTube tutorials and by trial and error, I took my limited knowledge, pushed past my fears, and went to a book release that I found on Facebook in 2017. I had no idea what would come out of me attending a book release, if anything. I just knew that I had to do something different with my life and step out of my comfort zone, not only for myself, but most importantly for my family. As I mentioned a short while ago, I was asked to capture and edit the official red carpet launch of a book publisher's company. Little did I know that this is where, I would have my first opportunity to create a name for myself. So with that in mind, I went back to searching YouTube tutorials for what equipment I would need to film a red carpet event. So after countless hours of searching, I was able to locate that information I needed for ordering the proper equipment. After all, I couldn't show up ready to shoot this type of event with an iPhone only and be taken seriously. So when it was all said and done, I pulled out my credit card and charged my card in excess of $4,500 because I didn't have the cash at the time. I purchased a Canon XF100 professional video camera, 4 LED lights with stands, a DJI Phantom 4 aerial drone, and many other things in between that I had to learn to use prior to the event. The dollar amount wasn't included to impress you, but to impress upon you that you have to be willing to take a step of faith and believe in yourself. Even if your financial situation isn't where you like for it to be at the time. I learned that you have to take advantage of an opportunity in the lifetime of an opportunity. In other words, sometimes you just have to put yourself out there when an opportunity presents itself. On the day of the event, I arrived and confidently set up my newly acquired production equipment. Once the event started, it felt natural to me, being in that Hollywood environment, in spite of the uneasiness and fear that I felt being out of my comfort zone. So this happens to be another huge principle to my success. It's confidence. Be confident in yourself. Take, opportunities when they present themselves, because that's the best way to grow and get better. So many people often refer to, this principle is fake it till you make it. This is a principle that I've lived by, which has been a huge part of my success as well. Be willing to take risk, and that's exactly what I did. I just winged it and confidently acted as if I, knew what I was doing. I started directing people on the red carpet, telling others what they needed to do, for the video shops, and pretty soon, everybody believed I had been working in the film industry for years. So after the red carpet event, I edited the footage. I captured the best way, I could with the limited knowledge that I, possessed from watching YouTube tutorials. Thankfully, the book publisher and everyone else who saw the video loved the completed video of the event, and I was even more surprised when the book publisher called me a few days later and asked if I would, become his publishing company's official videographer to film most of the future events. So, and without hesitation, I was like, yes, of course, I'd be more than happy, to be your official videographer. And just like that, I went from not knowing anything about filmmaking to being an official videographer for Noah's Ark Publishing, and all of a sudden, I was a new kid on the block, filming most of the events and creating most of the video content for a book publishing company. So, and it was all thanks to me having confidence to fake it for one day until I made it, and oh, by the way, I'm still their official videographer to this day. And within a couple of months, I was able to make a return on my initial investment by landing other paying video shoots. And it was all because I was willing to push past my fears, invest in myself, have confidence, and work hard. But I didn't stop there. Another huge key to my success is to continue learning and growing. So instead of being content with my newfound success, I pushed myself to the next level by upgrading to an even nicer camera setup. Only problem is I didn't have the money, so I charged it on another credit card. I invested in another, professional level camera, lenses, and a camera stabilizer, bringing my total to about $6,500. Along with this, with this equipment purchase, I officially launched my video production company, Purpose Video Services. I had to be willing to spend money if I wanted to make money. I had to be willing to take calculated risk, and even go in debt a little. So for me, I viewed it like paying money for a formal education, investing in my future, and building a legacy for my family. My new equipment setup was a huge key to my, me being able to take my business to the next level with, the next opportunity that I was presented with. About a month after, buying my new gear and officially starting my company, I received a call from a client that needed, me to capture some business-related commercial spots with the use of, a green screen, which I didn't know how to use. Once again, I boldly accepted an opportunity that I had no experience or knowledge, so I had to grow past my fears. So once again, I was on YouTube searching for tutorials about filming, lighting, using the green screen, and everything else in between for countless hours. After I received more details about the video shoots, it turned out to be video, commercial spots for Hollywood celebrities. Yes, I was nervous, but it was, just like the red carpet event and experience with celebrities, I acted confidently, as if I had been filmmaking for years. So after the filming sessions, I edited videos, and I was excited, when they were happy with the final delivery of the edits. The green screen celebrity videos that I captured were actually used for businesses to market their celebrity endorsements. So after the celebrity video shoots, I brainstormed about how, who were going to be my primary market, for my new business. So I decided to specialize in providing video production, drone services, and video editing for business owners. So this was due to my own business experience and understanding of the video marketing needs of business, the business world. So from time to time, I receive other opportunities outside of my area of specialization, including at major, shooting at major Hollywood studios, shooting documentaries, music videos, and so on. This in turn made my company one of the most highly sought after video production companies within the first few years of working with business owners. In a short while, I built a portfolio with demo videos to show my clients that I could capture and edit a certain level of quality. In addition, I began to market my work on social media to get as many eyeballs on my videos as I possibly could. This increased my chances of getting hired, and without fail, every time I posted a new video, I received more job offers. So I made it a habit of, sharing my work. but it wasn't all that smooth. I spent my first year working for free or very low fees, just trying to add value to numerous businesses and entrepreneurs. So believe it or not, that's another principle that has been a key to my success: adding value first. I was willing to work for free or nearly free for selected clients just to build up my experience and create my video sample reel with the goal of attracting paying video production and video editing jobs. I operated by the principle about a gentleman named Parker Walbeck called free to fee, which is, in other words, willing to work for free to prove your video production, video editing skills before you can be in charge, being able to charge a fee. I usually had a handful of people saying you should never charge for free because then they'll just expect to work for free forever. But then I was thankful that I didn't listen to them. I must add a side note: you have to be very strategic and intentional about who you offer your services for free. And in many cases, I only offered free video production to those businesses that I could potentially see a return in the future. In other words, if they like my work, they'd be more apt to use me in the future. And guess what? It worked. I received many more market rate video production and editing jobs from quite a few of the businesses, that I gave free services to. As time went on, my persistence and dedication paid off, and I began to reap the benefits of adding value first, or as I refer to as, free to fee. So going forward from 2017, the rest is, as many people say, is history. That's how I started my video production company, Purpose Video Services. So to this day with my company, I continue making a living shooting videos, flying aerial drones, and editing videos, doing what I love, with video editing, being my passion. After about 2 years in the business, many people began to ask how I was able to learn how to edit my videos with such ease and achieve such amazing results. So almost a year passed before I took notice of the constant stream of people asking me about the easiest and most efficient way to edit their own videos. So out of curiosity, I checked online to see what other basic editing courses were available, but I noticed that many of the video editing courses on the market weren't teaching the basic foundational principles of video editing with the absolute beginner in mind. So with that, a light bulb went off in my head, so I started conducting market research to see if there was enough interest for me to create an online video editing course focused on the absolute beginner. So to measure the interest for an online video editing course created by me, I simply asked my followers on Instagram and Facebook, who were constantly asking me questions about my business. So one day I sent out a post asking my followers what they wanted to learn from me. So I received, numerous responses, and the overwhelming majority wanted to learn about video editing. So I took that, every single question, organized it chronologically, and then from beginning to end. Then I took all the questions, scripted numerous pages of organized answers, researching and making sure I was answering all the questions correctly and concisely. And then I took that multi-page script of answers and spent the next 6 months filming and editing training videos into what is now 60-minute video editor, with organized training videos taking you from beginning to end with the 5 core foundational steps, so that that you can apply to any video editing project. I've even included some practice and bonus lessons in the course to test what you learn in 60-minute video editor. I designed my video editing course to grow with you by being open to creating and adding additional training videos into the course based upon popular learning topics from my student feedback. This is the main reason why I decided to give anyone who enrolls in my course lifetime access. This course will continue to grow and evolve with the students to keep the learning relevant and up to date. So that's a quick look at how 60-Minute Video Editor was born.